Okay, I know we're getting some really basic stuff here, but it's kind of important. This is some basic quaternion math. Let's say you have two things. Let's say you have a spin and a pose, and they're both rotations. The result of multiplying them together is basically going to go like this. The one on the left-hand side will affect the one on the right-hand side the same way that you could rotate an existing rotation using global or local. And here's what I mean by that. If you do a rotation times another rotation, the first rotation basically will affect the second rotation in a way that this one, wow, okay, so this is actually kind of difficult to explain. Let me just show you. Here we have two things. This one's spin and this one is pose. And I have it set to spin times pose. When it first comes in, what it's going to do is it's going to grab the current rotation of this and store that. And so as I spin this, it's going to take that starting rotation and spin that. And if you look at the arrows and not the dials, you'll see that these are basically working as though I've selected the global mode for rotation, and I'm selecting it using global mode. So this rotation here affects this one globally with reference to the global transform system. If I flip it around, then as I move this one, the global rotation of the one on the left will affect the one on the right locally, so that its local rotation is spun by this first one's global rotation. And I'm hoping that makes sense. Okay, let's look at the code real quick. So what we have here is we're grabbing our start rotation, and if we're doing spin times pose, which is the default setting, then our pose rotation is equal to the spin rotation times the start rotation. And if it's the other one, then it's going to be pose rotation is equal to the start rotation times spin rotation. Take another look at this. This is basically local mode. Okay, that is the current rotation is first, and you're multiplying another rotation times that. Global mode is where you take the rotation, the new rotation, and you multiply it to the current rotation in this order. Left-hand side, then to right-hand side. Spin times pose. And this is basically pose times spin.